So if I did want to change or experiment with the background on this right side tag here, okay, I can double click on right. Over here, go to background. So you can see here's my blue. Now that blue to me looks a little bit bright compared to the background. So you might want to experiment with some different colors, see if they work a little better, or even try a whole different shade like a gray on a blue or an orange or something on a blue. Now again, these are hexadecimal colors. You can usually find colors that will work with your site in this palette, but if not, go to this little color wheel and then you have a lot more to choose from. You know, maybe you want something that's not quite as saturated, you know, meaning a little bit more muted of a color or a little bit darker, and you can find something there, apply it, and then it's going to change it right there for you. The other thing that you can try is a background image inside of a division tag. So if I decided just to see what this is going to look like, I will put a background image. I'll do the same one. Okay, so I just select that, click open. Okay, and again, I'm on the CSS rule definition for the division tag labeled right, and I'm on the background image, click apply, and click OK. So then that puts that there. When I'm looking at this JPEG, it looks like it needs a little more work, but it starts to give you more design to your site, you know, if you start to fill in images. So hopefully you can see a lot of possibilities with this. The last thing that I would do here just quickly is I would create a title image of some kind in Photoshop. Now the way I'm going to do that, if I want to put this in, is I'm going to create an image in Photoshop that's the size of my division tag labeled header. So what I do is check my header at the top. It's a 600 by 75. Okay, so I would come back to Photoshop, do a file new, and then I would do pixels 600 by 75. Okay, resolution for the web, what you're doing is always going to be 72. If you're set to 300, you're going to be designing for print, so you want to make sure you set that to 72 and then click OK. Okay, and now I have this little image where I can, or this little image background that could sit right in here. So if I put a site title on there, I'll just click this real fast here. So I'm going to put this over here, grab my text tool again. I'll just highlight this one. Again, I'm doing this fairly quick. I'll choose one of my fonts on here, something that'll stand out just so I can see, and I'll make this a little bit larger. Not the greatest font that you've ever seen. And I could put lines, or I could put a background in here. One other thing before I go save it is I may want to take the background off so that it's transparent. It might fit into the site a little bit better than just a block. Sometimes transparency works, sometimes it doesn't. If you are going to do a transparent image, it has to be a GIF file in this particular case. So I'm just going to take off the background, just make it invisible right here in my layers. And then I'll go to File, Save for Web. Okay, make sure it's a GIF. Alright, it does have transparency applied to it. Looks okay to me. I'll just leave it on there for right now, and I'll go ahead and click Save. Check the size of it. It's really tiny. Click Save. Okay, and I would call this Title. Alright, back to Dreamweaver. And then right here, you have two choices. You could put this in as a background image, but it's better practice to just drop the image directly into the division tag. So what I would do here is drag and drop the image. I'll refresh here. Or you could do an insert image, however you want to do it. If I drag and drop, just drag and drop right there, and I would say, you know, Drew Site for my alt text or something, title. Click OK. And you can see that drops in the title there. It's a nice little placeholder for now. You know, I know that I'm probably going to come back and change it, make it look a little better. But it has a lot of elements to it now. It has a full screen, the site does anyway. It has a full screen background. It has 3 division tags, a header, and then 2 columns. It has a background division tag, and then it has a simple little header image from Photoshop that matches the size of your division tag and with a transparent background applied to it, so it's a GIF image. So this gives you a lot to experiment with. It gives you plenty to do your next project. You know, you got multiple choices for your layouts, you know, columns. do multiple columns. You can start bringing in some images if you want to experiment with that. You don't have to bring in images yet. I'm mainly concerned that you are focusing on the CSS layout with the division tags, but this gives you some more ideas to get started. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial, and hope you have enjoyed it, and I will talk to you again soon.